Hey, I'm Milo. I'm a student here in the Czech Republic, and I seriously dodged a bullet by choosing to come to school here. Let me tell you why. I go to a school called ARCIT, or the Architectural Institute in Prague. I love this school. It's a private school, and what's funny about it is through going here, because it's the only higher education opportunity that I've gotten, it's the only higher education school that I've gone to. Whenever I talk to my American friends back home about university, I can't wrap my head around how their school works. And it's so funny to me because we've been sort of brainwashed to think that the way that American universities work is the only way that they can work. But I'm here to say that's not the case. There's a lot of ways in which my school, ARCIP, differs from an American university. I'm from Lawrence, Kansas, where the University of Kansas is. So that's going to be the main sort of comparison for me today. Firstly, what struck me about my school when I first showed up is the cohort side. I really always want to say my grade level, but I think cohort size is the right word to use for it, the more professional one. But basically, there's 18 people in my whole grade, or my whole cohort. There are 18 people that were admitted to this university. Now that's not like a record low or high or anything, but there's just about 100 students at total at my school. And it's a private school, so perhaps that makes a little bit of sense. Here in Europe, one of the schools that is paid, because a lot of Czech students here, they can study for free at a public institution. So that's a difference. But yeah, there's about 100 of us and then 18 in my cohort. And you might think, okay, does it get, you get a lot of kids in your class, or is it even smaller depending on what class you take? No, it's actually all 18 of us have the exact same schedule and we take all the same courses. I should say that my school only teaches architecture. You can only get a bachelor's in architecture from this school. And so when you show up, actually even before you apply, you're given your schedule. You know what classes you're gonna take and what they are. And you could even, text a student that already goes there and find out what time of day those classes are. Because it's so efficient and it's so orderly. So in these classes, since you're all taking them together, they're also a little bit different from the American university system. The biggest thing that messes me up or confuses me about American universities as somebody who has never gone to one is the credit system. I can't even pretend to understand how the credit system works. But let me tell you about a credit system of schools that does work is the European Credit Transfer System, or ECTS. These make sense. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on them, but you can use these credits to transfer between two different schools. They're valid. They're sort of interchangeable. If you have two courses that are pretty similar, those credits will switch over without a lot of hassle. I remember being in the car with my friend when she was trying to switch universities in the US, and the way that the school she was trying to transfer to couldn't look up the school she was coming from, and they didn't know what their credits were, and it was unintelligible. I could not understand any of it. But these ECTS credits are amazing. Now I should probably give you some bearing on like how they're weighted and stuff like that. I don't know what credit hours are in the States, but I'll tell you at my school, our ECTS credits are indicative of how important the class is, and not necessarily, but maybe it's a suggestion of how long you should spend thinking about the class. For example, since we're in architecture school, we spend most of our time in our studio course. This is where we're making our imaginary buildings, and it's over the course of a whole semester, and we have a final presentation at the end. That for us is 15 ECTS credit, 15. But we have a lot of other courses, lecture courses, sort of workshop courses, and each of those is like 2 or 3 ECTS. So what's interesting actually is that my first year, I took not even my first year, my first semester, I took 11 courses, 11. And some were 3 ECTS, some were 2, and then AD, architectural design, was 15. So basically with ECTS, it's pretty normal to take 30 credits per semester. And this can be divided up however much the school decides. For example, a normal semester at ARCIP, at my school, you have 10 credits for the architectural design course. This is this course where we make our imaginary building for the semester. We present at the end, and it's where we spend our most time. This is 10 ECTS. But we have 8 other courses that we take over the course of the semester. Some of them are lecture courses, some of them are workshop courses. It can really be anything. And those typically go between 2 and 3 ECTS. And so our school can fit in a lot of credits and classes while still being in this 30 ECTS zone. And that's part of the reason why they're able to turn the bachelor's degree into a 3-year degree instead of a 4-year degree. So ECTS are really lovely. They're just they make a lot of sense. And in my opinion, they are highly superior to whatever credit hours mean in the USA. Someday I'll figure out what credit hours are, but not today. Also, I think what's so interesting relating to that is the way that our class distribution works over the course of our semesters and our degrees. When we first start out, I was taking 9 courses a semester, and that was pretty regular. It was a perfect amount of work, and I wasn't wasting any time on general education courses. That's something I hear a lot about from my friends who go to KU or any university in the States is, yeah, I gotta go to my English course and then my math course, and then maybe I can go to my architecture course second semester or something and get started. And like, why are you wasting your time and your money on that stuff? I came to school fresh out of high school, 18, and bam, we're learning about architecture. 3 years straight, and there's no class that doesn't relate to architecture. That's the way that our founders of our school have made it. Specifically gave a speech at the beginning of our education saying, we have formatted this school to provide you with every course that we wish we had when we went to school. And I thought that was so cool. There's no class that's a waste of time. It's just all focused and dedicated to the major that we want to walk away with. But now I'm in my final semester and my class load has sort of lightened a little bit because I'm working on my diploma project. So my AD, my studio course this semester is 15 credits instead. So this semester I take 6 courses because of my heavier load, because it's my last semester and it's time to work on my diploma project. So my AD course, my studio course is 15 credits, and then I just have 5 other courses. I have courses like crafts and presentation, critical city, history of architecture and art, preparing for practice, and technical coordination, where we talk about technical details of our projects. And I just think this is so awesome how the courses shift with what stage you're going through, and you're able to focus on what really matters. But enough about courses, layouts, credits, and whatever. What about grade? Is it really hard? Do you have enough time to get a passing grade, to get A's? Do you have a 4.0? First of all, people don't really care about 4.0. I don't think grade point average is a thing over here necessarily. Of course, everybody wants an A. I want an A. But at my school, because of the difficulty, even an E, which is in between D and F, is passing. And we have some really hard exams sometimes. My first semester construction exam was terrible. And so people were opting or hoping that they would get an E and pass. And a D is a little bit better, and a C is a little bit better, and a D and A is the best, obviously. And so you have a wider range of grades that you can get, and it's not sort of fake, or there's no curves or anything like that. Your grade is very indicative of how you're doing, but they want you to know that you can really succeed beyond passing. And I think that's cool. It motivates me a little bit. The last thing that I really like about my school when compared to American universities is the size, not just of the student population, but physically. KU, my hometown university in the States, that I've spent a lot of time there, but I've never gone to a course. It's huge. It has a huge campus. It's a Big 12 school, and there's a bajillion buildings on it because you need that much space if you're making all the kids take gen ed courses and stuff, and you're making them pay $20,000 a year. My school, on the other hand, where we are only charged $4,000 a semester, which is still on the high end, we rent out the top 2 floors of another school building, and that's all we need. I think we have about maybe 8 rooms in total that the students use, and then there's offices and so forth. And we're sort of just nestled within this, I would say, neighborhood of other academic buildings, but it's nothing like a college campus in the USA. It's way more urban, it's way more involved in the city. You don't feel so secluded or sort of nestled away and protected like you're in a bubble. You're in the city, and that's kind of the whole point of going to university, is that you get those city experiences. And it also makes my school a lot nicer. You get to run into faculty way more often, and I have a good relationship with the headmaster and so forth, and that might have been something that put me off when I was first looking into the school, but now looking at it, I love that we have a small little school. It's kind of nice. Our teachers come to the classroom that we're in, and they cycle through. Not like you have to walk 30 minutes across the campus to go to a lecture with 200 people, but your teacher comes to you, and sometimes a day is like a 1-room schoolhouse because the teacher is only teaching you that day. Okay, so those are the main differences between my school, the Architectural Institute in Prague, and an American school, for example, the University of Kansas. Because I don't actually go or have never been to an American university, I might have missed something. So if there's something that you're like, oh, that is actually pretty similar, Milo, or whoa, you didn't even mention this, that's crazy, drop that down in the comments. I'm actually quite excited to learn about what the differences are. Okay, that's it for now. I'm Milo. I'm an ambassador for the Beyond the States program, and I will see you in the next one.